Here's Brody Brazil.
I know there's a lot of Will Smiths out there in the world, and even in the sports community, tons of people with that name, but for whatever reason, whenever I see it, whenever I say it, all I can really think of is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. No disrespect to hockey's Will Smith, who is going to be drafted pretty high in the 2023 NHL Draft. I'm doing a player preview profile, whatever you want to call it. Let's talk about Will Smith. Later on, we'll get into the Sharks' chances of drafting a player like this, also what he would mean to the organization from a teal-tinted perspective. But yeah, how many people are going to play off the Will Smith headline? You know, if he gets drafted by Chicago, the Fresh Prince of Chicago or something like that, whatever. Is there a team with black in the color? He could be a Men in Black, that too. Sorry, Will. We didn't need all that. Most recent team, Team USA, the under-18s, born March 17th, 2005, hailing from Lexington, Massachusetts. And I got to say, a lot of people have projected Will Smith in different spots being drafted. I'm just happy to see that he's one of the lone Americans projected in like the top 5, top 7. So I definitely wanted to include Will Smith here in the conversation. Stands exactly 6 feet tall, 172 pounds, so pretty good frame to work with already. You know that, 18, 19 years old here. He's definitely going to fill out when the time comes. He's a right shot and plays center. I also like the fact that he's already put on the colors of our country. I think that means a lot. And whether it's at a under 18 age or whether it's, after that, at some point in your career when you're good enough to say you're on Team USA, that fast tracks a player. I feel like that brings you up in a different way. You've got a certain status about you, and you know what you have to live up to when you put that sweater on. I'll give you a couple different write-ups here on Smith, beginning with the hockeywriters.com. And then, like I said, later on, we'll circle back to the Sharks' perspective. What if they draft Will Smith in the next couple months here? Smith attracts a lot of attention in the offensive zone, drawing multiple defenders in his gravity before making a deft pass out of pressure to one of his lucky teammates. He has a ton of deception built into his game and is capable of faking opponents with his head, eyes, shoulders, and skates. Is this Joe Thornton Part 2? It's very difficult for defenders to predict where he'll go next. And as soon as they commit one way, he zips off in another. Smith's skating might limit him a little bit in the NHL, as it won't look quite as great against professional competition, though his hands and playmaking are so good that it might be a non-factor. The Hockey Writers goes on here to list some strengths and some things under construction for Smith. They list his two-way game as a strength, which is nice to see because a lot of young players are highly touted with the puck, and without it, especially when your team's on defense, back-checking, being a two-way player, it's not necessarily a compliment that goes all the way around everybody. So I'm glad to see it here. Deception, confidence, and maybe that was the Team USA part of it I talked about. That's great that he's got it. Stick handling, makes plays at high speed, which he'll definitely need to do at the NHL level. Okay, here's what's under construction, they say. Skating isn't dynamic, maybe a little bit more safer decision-making, and a better physical game. But again, that could come, and that'll have to come at the NHL level. Okay, here's what The Athletic says. Crafty is the best word to describe Smith's game. He impresses with his smarts with the puck, his cerebral play style, and his ability to play to his line mates. Smith is one of the very best slot passers in the draft and uses impressive puck handling ability to dodge closeouts, weave off the wall, and make plays through holes in coverage and possession with ease, regularly hanging onto pucks to delay and fake his way into his spots. He's the kind of player who can beat you with a pass, a dangerous wrister. In fact, while he has played facilitator so often in games this year, he's got an excellent wrister while moving, or a deke. He's also well regarded as a great kid who is easy to coach and understands the finer details of the game required of a center. So you know what? Of all the players that we've heard, wristers, scoring ability, prowess, playmaking, but it seems like Will Smith is the player that's going to say, hey, follow me, chase me, find me. Oh, just gave it to my teammate, my line mate. We scored. Of all the superstars that are the goal scorers. You need the players like this. And we talked in a different video about, Connor Bedard specifically. If you draft him, you're not done there. You've got to build around Connor Bedard. And if you've got a great team, you're always going to need a player like Will Smith that's going to find teammates. Again, circle back to Jumbo for all of those years. Like, do a scouting profile of Joe Thornton. Sure, he can score, but come on. The guy's passing ability, would you pass on that if I said you could draft that? Now, again, just like I'm not going to, I said getting the number 1 pick would be the luckiest thing more than drafting Marlowe. I mean, I'm also not going to compare Bedard to Jumbo. I'm not going to compare Bedard to Patty. I'm not going to compare Will Smith to Jumbo. But like, if we're going down that road, I don't think anybody in Sharks territory would be upset about that. Now, there is this, which I should say, Will Smith is probably projected to go 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th. I've seen him in a lot of different places. The point being here, if the Sharks are selecting him, they're already at a spot where they'll feel at a disadvantage because 4th worst record, you'd hope to at least get the 4th overall pick. There may be some other players lined up for them ahead of Will Smith. Maybe not. Maybe they've seen him. Maybe they know something. But at the same perspective, you would not be upset to get Will Smith. I think with the draft lottery on Monday, May 8th, you would hope then at least a 4th pick or higher. And a 4th pick or higher might get you a different player than Will Smith. But again, if you draft him, I think you would be pretty satisfied. You made it all the way here to the end of the video, so thumbs up on that if you would. I'd really appreciate it. Also, don't forget, subscribe to the channel so that I can see you and more of these videos pretty soon.